I 23M want to get back with my ex 25F. So as it says lol, I am wanting to get back with my ex GF of 3 years, after we have been apart for about 3.5 months and no contactish for about 3ish months. This will most likely be a long-winded post, so I am sorry in advance, but there is a lot of context I feel is important to the situation. I first would like to premise that since our breakup in Italy or just in general, I have done an immense amount of self-reflection, self-growth, and maturing as an individual, and these were all things I knew I needed to work on while in the relationship. I also began going to therapy, which I was always afraid of doing and oftentimes would put off and push back even during my relationship, admittedly. But I have taken that initiative and acknowledged that it was okay to get professional help. My ex and I, let's call her G, broke up back in late June after I had gone over to help her move into her new place. There was some frustration and tension as G easily gets overwhelmed and overstimulated when there are multiple things going on at once. To quickly summarize the initial situation, she got overstimulated and overwhelmed while moving things in, and when I went to help her out and move a piece of furniture out of her way, she snapped at me saying that I'm always up her ass like a puppy, and can't give her any space ever. She did this in front of her mother, who apologized for what her daughter said, and I responded with "It's okay, no problem." I did react pettily to this though, and when G came back to apologize, I did give her the cold shoulder and completely stopped helping and went on my phone and took a break, which I now acknowledge was a horrible response to the situation and was immature of me. Fast forward, we end up getting through that little bump in the road, and the next morning I let her know I will be leaving her place early because I had made plans with friend and his father to go out for Father's Day. This upset G, and she felt as if I didn't want to be there with her or spend more time with her, which I tried to reassure her was not the case and told her I would cancel these plans and stay with her. I made it clear I was happy either way, no matter what I was doing, because even if I canceled on my friend, I could spend more time with her. She did not like my answer and was mad I had my phone out, so she began telling me to get out of her bed and to leave her home. I got up and smirked, and admittedly reacted immaturely and gave her the peace sign, to which she reacted by throwing her pillows and anything near her at me until she got up and shoved me into the wall. My response was to disengage, get dressed and to leave, but before I could leave the house she apologized and asked me to please stay, to which I said okay and stayed a bit longer and spent more time with her and her father before I left back home. The next day I mentioned to her that I still was not okay with what happened yesterday and would like to discuss it more with her, but I was going in to get an MRI, so I would talk to her once I got out. She took this as me wanting to break up with her and decided that she would break up with me before I would be able to break up with her, and stated that I was not able to emotionally support her or be there for her, and that I embraced her by sitting on the couch while everyone was helping move things. She stated she was open to talking more about this in the morning. I decided to wait till the weekend instead to text her and discuss what was going on and how I was feeling. She was understandably frustrated and upset by this, but we agreed to meet up and talk about everything. We did and it went very well, but we both agreed to not rush back together just yet. No contact and mentioned that I never did certain things for her. So I go over to her place and bring her some gifts and a letter I wrote to her. We end up spending the day together and all is good. We plan to hang out the next week, but she starts claiming that I don't want to be with her and why can't we start dating again, and I told her, as we both agreed upon, that we need to take our time and that I still love her and want to be with her but would like to make sure that we don't just break up the next week. She gets mad and blocks me on everything but Instagram and we end up not hanging out. I text her on there trying to tell her that I still want to be with her, but she states that I need to leave her alone, so I do that. She ends up seeing me later that weekend at the mall with her friends and I am there with my friend. My friend is a female, so she sends me a not so nice message on Instagram regarding her and I reclarify that she is a friend and that is all, but I am blocked on Instagram now. Fast forward to now. I try reaching out her earlier this month and she states that I need to respect her boundaries and that we both need to heal. I am not sure what to do or where to go from here. It sucks because I never wanted this to happen. I really just wanted to make sure our relationship was going to be solid, healthier than the past 3 months were. Is it over for sure? Is there any chance at rekindling this? Please let me know. A friend exposed another friend for cheating. Gone wrong. I 17F go to an all-girls high school with my 7 other friends, but I'll only mention 2 specific people from our group the most in this. One of my friends, let's call her Ashley 17F, had a boyfriend named Hayden 17M. She had been dating Hayden for a while, but she ended up cheating with other guys during her relationship due to Hayden's religious beliefs. My friends and I had suspected she had been cheating with another guy already, but we knew we weren't in a position to ask or really talk about it because it's not something we were involved in. One day Ashley messaged us saying she and Hayden had broken up because Ashley felt bad about cheating on Hayden, so she partially confessed by saying she only kissed another guy when she actually banged him on numerous occasions. Hayden ended up giving her a second chance and I'm fairly certain the two started dating again. I'm not quite sure what really happened after that since I'm not close with Ashley. But now introducing my second friend that will be mentioned, we'll call them Casey. Casey and Ashley were originally rather close with each other, but recently the two had started arguing with each other. Casey had been making jokes about her own mental health as some coping mechanism, and Ashley didn't like the jokes Casey was making about herself. Ashley ended up messaging the guy she had cheated with while in a relationship, we'll call him Ryan, about Casey's jokes, and Ryan ended up messaging Casey, "You can always talk to me if anything happens," or something like that. This had confused Casey since she had never messaged Ryan before. At some point around here though, I believe Ashley began dating Ryan and had broken up with Hayden. So Casey asked Ashley, who confessed to telling Ryan that Casey had become an issue to her. Casey didn't exactly trust Ashley, so she asked Ryan what Ashley said about her. Ryan said that Ashley had told most of Casey's problems to Ryan, which led to Casey feeling hurt and annoyed at Ashley because she lied to her. Moving on. I'm not sure when, but Hayden was desperate to get back together with Ashley, so he told Ashley he was willing to give up his religious beliefs to do the deed with Ashley. But after that, about 2 days ago, Casey and a few other people decided to message Hayden telling him the truth about what really happened with Ashley's cheating. This was around when Hayden was going to give up his religious beliefs as well. This news obviously made Hayden angry and upset at Ashley. In response, Hayden told his friends and Ashley's parents, causing Ashley to get in trouble with her parents. This did occur on the weekend, so I am not fully aware of all the details, but Casey had told some of us a few details. After this occurred, Ashley's mental health had been impacted by this situation, but at school, it turned out to be worse than we had thought. Most of us didn't have classes with Ashley during periods 1 and 2, but during recess when we went to sit at our usual spot. Another friend who was in Ashley's class made us aware that Ashley had shish all over her arm and that she engraved, "Help me," into her arm. When Ashley came to sit down with us, we saw the extent of what she had done, and I'll just say it was bad. During our recess, we were made aware by another friend that Ashley was planning to beat up Casey after period 1, but didn't end up doing so because she wasn't bothered. Ashley later went home during period 3 for reasons we are unaware of. While Ashley was gone during our lunch break, a few of my friends and I voiced our opinions, saying how it wasn't really Casey's place to tell Hayden even if he was going to give up his religious beliefs. But I don't think Casey understood due to his consistent justification of why she did what she did. At the end of the day, we were all ready to leave school, but Casey did not leave immediately, saying she was afraid of Ashley beating her up, although she had already gone home. Casey went to our year coordinator about this issue during lunch at some point and was told she could stay at school as long as she wanted. In the end, she stayed for 5 minutes extra, then just left school with another friend. I honestly don't know what to think of this. I'm not taking anyone's side on what's going on because, in my opinion, they all did something wrong. Personally, I believe that Casey wasn't in a position to tell Hayden about Ashley's lies, but Ashley obviously shouldn't have cheated on Hayden in the first place. Casey was not responsible for what Hayden chose to do after finding out, but what Hayden did was the result of Casey telling him. Honestly, Casey and Ashley both have very dominant personalities and aren't ones to think before they say something. They always just get it out there without considering anything else. But then again, I'm not directly involved and I don't plan to get myself involved in this, but me and my other friends are genuinely pretty lost on what to do, but we know we shouldn't be taking sides. I can try to update you guys if something happens. I would appreciate some advice as well. And I'm sorry if this is confusing. It's confusing to me myself, but I tried the best I could. Recovering from a narcissist parent. I have spent the last year of my life attempting to heal from the relationship I have with my mom. Don't get me wrong, I love my mom. She tries her best, and I know she loves me and is proud of me. There have never been a moment where I felt unloved or unwanted by my mom. However, with that being said, she is also a narcissist. For my entire life, she has not respected boundaries I have set, manipulated and guilt-tripped me into doing certain things, and for the most part has made a lot of my life's challenges about her. Example: I broke up with my first serious boyfriend. We dated for about 2 years, and our relationship was clearly over. In hindsight, I'm 99% sure he was cheating on me. I found a pair of girls' gym shorts in his closet while helping him with chores. And he went to Mexico with his best friend, and when he came back was very vague about his trip. His friend didn't say anything, but after we broke up, I learned that he flew to the US to meet up with a girl he met while in Mexico right after we broke up. He was also manipulative and just a big mistake on my part. Of course, did I tell me parents this? No. I didn't want them to know how hurt I was, and just said we broke up, and I'd appreciate that you wouldn't contact him anymore. My mom then told me that they had a friendly relationship, and she wasn't willing to cut off ties with him. I later found out that they had met for coffee. Years later I told her the truth, but I don't think it really mattered at that point anyways. Another example. My mom lives about 5 hours from me. She moved away when she retired. Being far away, I can only visit maybe a few times a year. Last summer, my husband and I decided to go up for our Canada Day-long weekend, and we went for a total of 2 weeks to spend time with my family. I excitedly called and told her of our plans, only to be met with a disappointed, "Oh." According to my mom, those dates were not the same time that my brother was also going to be there, and she wanted us to change our plans. That would not work, as shortly after our trip, my husband was flying internationally, so I told her no, these are the dates we can come up, and I set that boundary. She then proceeded to try and guilt-trip me for the next several months, asking us to change our plans because of my older brother. Again and again, I said no. Long story short, my mom had her dates wrong. My brother and I were going to be there at the same time, and guess what my mom's response was? "Oh well, that is great." No apology, no accountability, nothing. My healing process started when I was the ripe age of 29. I had finally hit my limit after a visit with my parents had gone really south. I left that trip and ended up just naturally distancing myself from my mom for a while. She'd call and ask bluntly what was going on, but I wasn't ready to talk. I have never been one to be confrontational, and being an overthinker, it took me a long time to sort out my feelings. I spoke with my husband and close friends about my situation, as they know my family life and helped me understand that my mom is a narcissist. Before this time, I never thought I knew any, and I never thought one would be my own parent. When I finally learned and accepted that this was the situation I was in, I grieved. I was a kid that looked at other families that had health and happy relationships with each other, and I wished that they were my parent. I quickly learned that's not a normal way to think. When I finally spoke with my mom about our relationship, it was in person, and I just let it all out. I told her I didn't feel respected, my boundaries aren't respected, and I'm tired of being looked at or treated less than my older brother. I'm tired of having my opinions dismissed, being interrupted while talking, being ignored while talking. I was done pretending I was okay when really I was really hurt. I feel like I let out years of issues I just ignored. I was flying home the next day, so it was an awkward 24 hours. Unsurprisingly, she tried to place some of the blame on others, or how these traits she had been dealing with her whole life. Shockingly, she listened to what I had to say, and was very emotional and apologized, then kept apologizing. I had to tell her to stop apologizing as months had gone by, and she looked at me like I had kicked a puppy or something. Since then, our relationship has improved. I am glad I said something. Like I said, I know my mom cares for me, and her trying to be better clearly shows she is trying to think about her actions. I am now feeling like I am finally moving on. When I think about my childhood and growing up, it wasn't easy. I feel like I'm still grieving what I wish I could have had with my parents. My confidence has gotten a bit better, but my anxiety in general has gotten a lot better as well. I just keep trying to be better, and it seems to be helping. What are you doing to help with the healing process? Side note, I'm much better now. Mental health in general has been good. I just want to hear from others who may have grown up in the same situation or similar situation as me.